Now, FNB has made some strides in changing the way banking is done and influencing trends in the innovative banking space. The bank now talks directly to over 15,000 customers and potential customers via its social media platforms. This has prompted FNB in launching banking on Facebook, which has over 4.7 million users in South Africa alone. In studio with me to discuss this further is Sandy Madikiza, cell phone banking channel head at FNB. Welcome, Sandy.
Thanks.
Now, the electronic banking space in South Africa is becoming increasingly competitive. We've seen a flurry of banking apps, now a foray into the integration of banking into social media platforms. As one of the biggest banking institutions in South Africa, in terms of innovation, how do you keep one step ahead of your competitors?
I think with FNB, it's in the culture of the bank. Our CEO, Mark is consistently driving innovation within the bank.
A Twitter user himself?
Definitely, an avid Twitter. And the bank has identified that to basically remain competitive, we have to actually utilize innovation. And it helps us to basically deliver a good banking experience for our customers.
Now, I mentioned social media. You, of course, launched your Facebook app in June this year. How does the app actually work?
Currently, to be able to actually get the Facebook banking app, the customer has to be registered for cell phone banking. So the customer registered for cell phone banking, they initiate the registration process for the app from within FNB cell phone banking, get it to the banking menu, and then you link your Facebook profile to cell phone banking.
Security, especially when it comes to social media platforms. We've seen a lot of targeted attacks to spaces like Facebook and Twitter. How is the bank guaranteeing your customers' security and safety from people not accessing their banking or their social information?
Okay. Before we actually started with the implementation of banking on Facebook, we actually did an analysis of the Facebook security framework. And after that analysis, we then decided to implement the transactions that we have. So currently, a person is able to basically view their balance from within Facebook, and a person is able to buy a few prepaid products. You can buy airtime for yourself, SMS data bundles, as well as BlackBerry bundles. There are additional services that we are planning on implementing in future, and at that point we definitely will be enhancing the security model to be able to implement the additional services. So at this stage, the worst thing that could happen if a customer's profile was accessed is a fraudster basically see your balance, and that's about it. Because if they buy airtime, it's capped at 60 Rand, and they can only buy for your number.
From a banking perspective, is this a South African and maybe even a world first?
South African first, definitely. In the bank, people are definitely keeping busy, but yeah, would have liked to have been first in the world.
Now, from a trend perspective, we know there are extremely high mobile penetration rates on the continent, South Africa, and up into the SADC region because of the high cost of broadband, the high cost of infrastructure, and even lack of infrastructure. Now, from a technology perspective in a mobile banking space, is technology driving the consumer, or is the consumer driving the technology?
That's always an interesting question. I think in this particular instance, technology is to a certain extent probably driving the consumer. I think when the bank decided to invest in mobile banking, the challenge was how do you provide banking in a cost-efficient manner, and that's where mobile banking basically originated. So from definitely the penetration of cell phones in South Africa has been a key driver, I think, for the high success rate that we have actually seen in terms of cell phone banking in South Africa.
What's the uptake been of the Facebook app since the launch in June?
At this stage, it's still in the early days. The one thing that we actually do as a bank is we ensure that our customers remain skeptical when they get communications. I think with all phishing and all those kind of things that are currently taking place, you want customers to be wary of new offerings. So in a sense, this will almost sort of give us a bit of a challenge. So customers are sort of waiting to see others sort of take up the product, but definitely in due course, we are anticipating quite a huge take-up of the offering.
Let's take a look at your target market. We know Facebook, very popular for the LSM and the age group 18 to 35. Is that your target market for the Facebook application as well?
Oh yes, definitely. If you look at our customer base in terms of cell phone banking, 75% of our base is actually between the ages of 19 and 40. So the Facebook banking app actually sits squarely within that particular age group.
Let's talk about the cell phone space for FNB. What's the future of cell phone banking for FNB in South Africa and the SADC region?
It's quite difficult to probably preempt.
Don't want to give your competitors any heads up.
But there's definitely a lot of things that are definitely happening within FNB in terms of offering services within the mobile space. So there's definitely quite a lot of things we're going to be doing rolling out. There's going to be more aggressive push in terms of getting our customers to use electronic channels. And yeah, I think electronic banking is definitely going to be the key for service delivery for us.
Before we go, let's just take a look at the changing market landscape, especially from an African perspective. Do you think cell phone banking is set to change the way we do banking in the country and on the continent? How is this going to affect traditional banking channels?
Definitely, we have seen actually quite a nice uptake, I think, of mobile banking in general, I think, across the African continent. I think it's because of the high mobile penetration that we have seen. The one advantage as well is cost efficiencies. I think service providers are now able to basically offer services to their customers quite remotely at a relatively low cost. So I think definitely going forward, mobile offerings across the board, mobile payments, we're definitely going to be seeing quite an increase within the African continent.
Fantastic, and we look forward to watching FNB's progress. Sandy, thank you very much.
Thanks for your time.